relationship between the two sides. We're going to leave it there for the moment, Siddhant. Thanks very much for those updates. We'll, of course, keep going back to our principal diplomatic correspondent for more on that. Moving on for now, the Afghan presidential palace has rejected any progress in the peace negotiations between Afghanistan negotiators and the Taliban, adding that the deadlock in the talks has not been broken so far. Earlier, reports claimed a breakthrough in the talks, with the two sides agreeing to include the US-Taliban agreement, commitments of the negotiating teams and the will of the Afghan people as the base for the negotiations. But the presidential spokesperson, Siddiqui, said that the Taliban's demand is against the constitution. Siddiqui also reiterated that peace was the priority for President Ghani and that the Taliban should join the peace process as it is supported by the international community. The presidential spokesperson called for an immediate ceasefire in Afghanistan. The Taliban and Washington signed a deal in February in which the US agreed to withdraw its forces by mid-2021. The Afghan peace talks began soon after in Doha on the 12th of September. But immediately there were issues over agenda disagreements and the basic framework of the discussions. Meanwhile, violence rages on in Afghanistan with a series of rocket attacks, killing at least 8 people in Kabul last week. According to the Afghan government, the Taliban killed over 1,200 civilians in 53 suicide attacks and 1,250 explosions over the past 6 months. And our Pakistan Bureau Chief Anas Malik has been tracking the very latest. Anas, the spokesperson version coming close on the heels of the visit of Mike Pompeo, which was well received by the two stakeholders, but the violence has not ceased.
Well, Secretary Pompeo's meeting with the Taliban were welcomed both by the Afghan side and by the US side and all of the other stakeholders in this very process, because that came at a juncture and that showed some glimmer of hope on those sticking points. But there has been an increase in violence, a surge in violence. There have been at least 4 blasts, some of them being magnetic IEDs and the other being IED blasts, and about more than 25 people have been killed in Afghanistan. This recent surge of violence in the past 3 days, I've been a witness to them as well. In fact, last Saturday, 23 rockets had hit the city of Kabul as well. So with this increase in violence and this increase in the attacks that are there, and the presidential spokesperson stepping in and saying that Taliban's demands are unconstitutional, that is something that raises doubts on the future of these talks.
Right, Anas, what is the sticking point between the parties when the deal was signed so many months ago and the outcome still looks elusive?
Well, the sticking point is the terms of reference for the talks between Afghan government and the Afghan Taliban. The Taliban say that the US-Taliban deal that was signed on the 29th of February should be the document under which these talks should take forward, should go ahead. And that document clearly says that it will be an Islamic republic that gives advantage to the Taliban. On the other hand, the Afghan government is very cautious and very carefully going ahead, and they wouldn't want to just surrender or give an impression even that they're surrendering to the Taliban. Therefore, this meeting between Secretary Pompeo and the Taliban took place. In fact, the Pakistani Prime Minister as well, when he was here last week, he had also assured that there would be a reduction in violence and Pakistan would play its utmost role. Therefore, it was absolutely essential that these riders or these sticking points should be resolved. And we saw reports coming in both from within the Afghan government and the Afghan media as well, and in fact the Taliban as well, that there was an agreement on the way forward on 4 points. But with the presidential spokesperson's statement, there seems to be no headway. I take you back that the Afghan government chief negotiator was also in town, and he was said to have been holding secret meetings as well